Demand we involve police? No problem. Just read one of these that was short and sweet, and it reminded me of my own experience. Getting lunch several years ago with some colleagues. We had finished and I was backing out of my parking spot into the road with the other two gentlemen I was with in the car with me. We are all professionals. All in suits. All clean-cut adults. Clearly not folks trying to pull anything. We're leaving lunch. As I back out, I feel a thud. A young college student had backed into the side of my vehicle. I say, side, to establish an important fact. I was already in the middle of the road. The college student was backing out of a spot across the street. When they stuck me, I was already in the road and the collision was their fault. I get out and it's no big deal to me. I tell them I'm fine swapping insurance and I'll file and get it taken care of. The college student has already called their parents though, and apparently when explaining things to Dad, they told a few half-truths to insinuate that it was actually my fault. Old Dad on the phone insisted on calling the police to get a report and try to keep me from skating. Fine by me. Cue malicious compliance. Call the cops and they eventually arrive. Before I moved my vehicle, I took photos of the scene from every angle and did a video walk around. Cop opens his door parked across the street and the college student beelines it for him. Talking 90 miles a minute, complete with wild hand movements trying to model what had happened as they walked. I don't hear what college student says, but I do hear the cop, at this point beside the damage to my vehicle, say, "Yeah, what you're saying clearly didn't happen here, kiddo." Cop got all the insurance information exchanged. Talked to me and my two colleagues who presented consistent stories that matched the clear dent in my vehicle. Then went over with a ticket pad to the college kid. He hollered for me to go on about my day from across the street. All while the kid was trying to talk out of a ticket. Their insurance paid to fix everything. I tried to save them the ticket. He hollered for me to go on about my dad from across the street. When cops become therapists. Now, tell me about your father. The ticket cost them twice. The cost of the ticket, points against his license plus the ticket against him during the accident, meant the insurance company automatically went against him. While your story suggests that would have been the case anyway. When the other driver gets a ticket for whatever led to the accident, it's in the bag. At least if they would have let it go, the insurance companies might have fought it out. Not to say that would have been right, fair for you. He learned a few important life lessons. First, physics don't lie. Second, don't involve the cops if you're in the wrong. Third, don't lie to the cops if they do get involved, because see lesson number 1. And this is exactly why I have a dashcam in my car. I got hit by a speeding taxi halfway through a roundabout. I pulled over and the taxi driver got out and started yelling at me. I was speechless. He's shouting obscenities at me when a car pulls up and this random guy says, "I saw the whole thing. I'll stand up in court for you, miss," and proceeded to call the police. Cue taxi driver's realization that he was now unemployed. I'm tipping he'd be blaming everyone else for why his life was so shit. Guy hit me one time and I was explaining what happened to the officer and the other guy interrupted to correct me, but what he said was literally impossible based on where the damage on our cars was. And they'll continue to tell the story of how it was your fault despite all of that. You being a suit and tie wearing adult, and them being a student shouldn't matter here. What actually happened and the fact you have proof is what matters. Seems like the younger and more inexperienced the driver that causes a wreck, the more they don't think about the true cost of their decisions. In his case, the lies to his dad cost both him and Dad I had a similar incident when I was riding a motorcycle about 40 years ago. Kid pulled out of a parking lot right on front of me and stopped, blocking the entire lane. In Seattle traffic, I don't remember doing it, but the witnesses said it looked like I did up and just pushed the motorcycle away from me. I thought I was a ginger when I knew I couldn't stop. I was very surprised you'd be standing 10 feet behind where my motorcycle lay at the wheels off his car. I had always been told by the older bikers I hung with, if you can't stop, get the hell off the bike. I guess I listened, and I wasn't hurt at all. If it stayed on, I would have ended up flying over the top of his car. The kid had his driver's license for 2 weeks and was driving a 70s Super Beetle. The only damage to his car was a small round dent in his front fender, where my clutch broke off. My bike ended up being totaled. The frame was bent, along with a few other things. The kid was lucky I didn't get hurt. I could have been dead. His grandma didn't agree, however. It must have been the rough and tight biker's fault, not her sweet grandson's. She insisted we can the cops. Event after I explained it would just get her grandson a big ticket for failure to yield, which it did. They were still very lucky I wasn't hurt and the bike was only worth a couple thousand. Oh man. It pisses me off so bad when parents give their kids those one trick that'll help you out of the situation you caused tips. I only wish there would have been some consequences for lying to a cop about it. If you're helping your kid lie their way out of a ticket or charge, you're just helping to produce an entitled brat. I tried to save them the ticket. What would they have been ticketed for?
Nice. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.